morning. How are you? Welcome, troublemakers and fucking people. Hello. Sorry, I haven't streamed for a while. I'm sure you all missed me terribly. But haven't been feeling that great. But I'm just focused on a lot of stuff. I'm stretched pretty thin at the moment. But I thought I'd jump in on a Monday stream and remind you that there's a US election on, in case you hadn't noticed. There's an election on. I don't know if you're aware, but there's an election on. Did you know that there is an election on? Right? Fucking hell. And it's okay to not be fucking part of it, especially for Australians, especially for, people going about their everyday lives. And, there's a lot of fuckery. You're being fucked with. There's propaganda everywhere. And I think it's okay. I think I'm just off the back of a little bit of bullshit this morning where I saw someone, there's a viral video. I won't play it because it's horse shit, but taking a rant from George Carlin. And if you know me, you know I know my George Carlin. And fucking putting it over like extreme, it looks like it's fucking North Korean propaganda, right? And using George Carlin's libertarian, anti-fucking elite stuff for propaganda. And I know that he can't control that and stuff, but fuck me. Like, I hope that they sue this. I hate it when someone like George Carlin, a comedian who was very clear that it was all parties, and then they use his fucking, snippets of his comedy, take it out of context, overlay it with fucking it was just the most vomitous propaganda I've ever seen in my life. And people are sharing, and it's fucking blue checks sharing it, going, George Carlin was very wise. Well, yeah, he was, and you're a fuckwit. Right? Journalists have a responsibility to stop sharing this shit. Right? And this is why I'm going to rant a little bit about we are in the middle of World War III. This is an information war. It has been predicted by everybody, myself included, that war would, it wouldn't look like how nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, right? And as we get closer and closer to the election, the propaganda is going to become worse. The lies are going to become worse. Everything is going to become just false, okay? And it's okay to say, no, I'm not being part of this. So, and I think that this is something people just don't realize, which is that it's not one group. It's not one group of people. It's not one country. Everybody is trying to fuck with the US elections, including every party, right? This woke shit, it's just one of the cults that have been built, right? But they're all disinformation factories, okay? It's the same fucking playbook, right? And that's why I think that I need to do more content on the disinformation playbook, some of the strategies, how to spot propaganda, basic media literacy, because holy fuck, journalists are sharing this horse shit. What is going on? Right? It's like as journalists, you have a role to play to make sure that you don't share this stuff. Like, it's one thing for your grandma or your fucking, your mum or, whatever, but, you can't keep sharing this stuff. So anyway, I'm going to try and keep everybody sort of focused on what's true. Okay. And not only that, right? One thing that people don't realize, I've been reading a book over the weekend. It's called This Is Not Propaganda. And I've read a few of these. So it's nothing I don't already know. And which is that, it's big business disinformation. Okay. You have AI, you have troll farms, you have bots. They are real. Okay. They are getting smarter and smarter and smarter. I talked about this with TikTok, where I think a big part of their growth strategy involves giving the kids a love bomb and sort of fueling them and getting them into this sort of woke, into various tribes, right? Recruiting via TikTok and brainwashing them into these various fucking culture war fuckery, right? And this is what is frustrating me, because people don't see that most of the arguments that you're having are with bots. And if they're not with bots, they're with people who are basically brainwashed by bots. And if they're not those, then they are people whose job it is to sit and manage 100 social media accounts and fuck with you and get you like sharing their shit. They're just fucking propaganda machines. Okay, they're bullshit. It's a bullshit factory. Okay, fuckery. Fuckery from the bullshit factory. Okay, like you need to start, and I think, and that's the problem, is that it's easy to get sucked in. And I think I've been thinking, reflecting on this. I've been probably wrong on some level to fall on one side of the culture wars, because all of it is bullshit. Okay. It's like being anti-woke. You've fallen hook, line, and sinker for the fucking the culture wars. Woke, you've fallen hook, line, and sinker for the culture wars, right? This left versus right, far left, Antifa, fucking all this stuff. It's an entire industry of people, of fuckery, mostly fueled by bots. This is the conclusion that I'm coming to. The more that I research, which is that with the end goal is not any particular political purpose other than to destabilize, okay, and make us fucking question ourselves, and gaslight us so that we are vulnerable to attack, right? And it's not just China, it's not just Russia, it's not just the UK, it's just endemic. Okay, you've got activist groups who use the same playbook, right up to the fucking Russian government, right up to it's everyone is fucking with everyone else, and that's the end. That basically that's how we're here. So there is literally, it's no one group of people, and I think that because I saw this woke stuff and cancel culture as the immediate threat, I have made the mistake of not calling out the fucking fuckery on the other side as well. Okay, and it's very, very hard to find out what's true right now, especially, okay? Seriously, I've spent my weekend, it's so weird, like a couple of communities that I'm in, trying to alert them to the idea that as cultural properties and cultural, something that might be of cultural interest, that there's a bit of like weird AI fuckery. Like AI is getting really smart, okay? And like I said, when you think about AI, all right, don't think about it as, a robot with an algorithm in it. It's not that. It's not just that. What you need with disinformation is you need just enough people to fall for the fucking lie. Okay, so it's people hacking. I talked about this with Twitter. Social engineering. It's not just, you are talking with a bot. That is obviously a bot. Blah, blah, blah. No, what you need, and I'll talk about, is actually, I think I might talk a bit more about this, the disinformation stuff, because I think people I think I need to get back to basics on that. I think that there might be a role for some education on sort of critical thinking, first of all, but second of all, how the sausage is made in terms of getting propaganda out, right? So there's multiple roles in getting a story or some sort of lie or propaganda or anything out there. This is marketing 101. Think about influencer marketing on fucking steroids used for evil purposes, right? So first off, you need the content. Okay, so you need the lie, the video. So let's use the George Carlin video that's gone viral, with all that fucking bullshit on top of it. That video is actually a really good example of it's bullshit propaganda. Okay, all right. I'm so fucking angry about that video because it's just they're using George Carlin. But anyway. But let's just use that, right? You could use Pink News. You could use any plant an article, any kind of article or piece of media, right? So first you need that. Then you need AI. So they may create a publication, outrageous publication. So Pink News is probably a good example of that, or any of these fucking clickbait bullshit news outlets. Basically, we can't differentiate between bullshit clickbait fuckery outlets and the actual fucking news anymore, and that's a problem, because it's not just bots that you need. What you need is the content, and then you need to feed that content to the right networks, right? So in the case, I'm working towards writing this down, but so you start with something outrageous like that content. Most people would look at that and go, that's fucking ridiculous. Okay. However, what you do is you then get AI, right? People who are stupid. Okay. I was dancing around it, but you can't. People who are stupid or gullible or whatever to then act as the AI bot people. Okay, so what you do is you have that sort of there's a number of factors. So you have an AI bot, which is, some dumb fucks, kids. That's why TikTok is significant in the way that they use AI, because kids are naive. They think that, they're not as tuned to this stuff, right? Then you have the kids who fall for the AI, who then parrot and spread these things, right? I firmly believe there's a PhD in the spread of the word Karen and where that came from, and TikTok and stuff. It's really interesting. Then, right? Then you have people in troll farms. So they're not bots, but they are people whose job it is to spread that information, converse at a human level, right, with those people and get those people all amped up, right? You see how this is happening every day on Twitter, right? Then you get the fucking publication. So you create bullshit publications, right? So Pink News is probably a good one, but there's another, there's a number, all of them, all of the bullshit clickbait fucking farm article bullshit media that's popped up in the last 10 years, okay? So you get an article on there. Then you get the dumbass journalists. So you whack up some hype on Twitter. You get fucking 35 people like going off and making it fucking trend. So you get bots making it trend and real people. You see journalists pick it up. They print it into a legitimate publication because they're dumb fucks and like nobody is being a journalist anymore. And then it's news. And then everyone reacts to the news. Then there's the counter movement, and then there's cancel culture, and then there's all this fuckery that goes on. Then you have the counter propaganda movement, okay, this is why I'm sort of reflecting on my role in this anti-woke stuff, because I sit there and I go, oh, at what point are you – it's why you need to be committed to making sure that you tell the truth, and when you're wrong, you say that you were wrong. And on this instance, I think that it's easy to fall into the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of mentality. But also like this stuff where you're reacting, like I said, I think I said this in a couple of videos ago, where you are you're constantly responding, right? So Doug said, so it's no longer an AI issue at this point, it's people doing it. Yes, and that's the thing, okay? Now, AI, I think that's where the misconception that people have about this stuff, right? Which is that AI is not smart enough to converse or pass the Turing test. Increasingly it is, yes, but at the same time, all you need to do is hack people, okay? You need to just hack. And even if it's like 5% of the population that are vulnerable to this stuff, right? That's why, right, I've seen some incredible specimens lately of people who just, like, I have seen the source propaganda and they just spread it. But they parrot. They're just bots. They're basically humans that are talking like bots. They're just talking points, right? And this is not just woke. This is fucking, this is everybody, right? This is people, anybody who says the left is like, that's just such a stupid term. So that's the conclusion that I'm coming to, which is that I'm not going to buy into this American culture wars, like propaganda war. What I'm going to do is sit down and try to figure out what the fucking truth is sometimes, like on all this stuff, and try to show you how this stuff actually works so that you might be a little bit more immune to some of this. Because what I see coming, we got 3 months to the election. They're going to start some shit. So basically what they've done, I see what's happening with the political strategy right now. I can see it. Plain as day. I talked about this entryist stuff, right, with communities. But what they're doing is currently laying dormant and A/B testing stuff. Now, in UX, if you're in tech, A/B testing means you test the reaction or the result or whatever, and you just sort of see which one works better. So you're constantly always testing, right? Always testing A versus B, A scenario versus B scenario, and gradually improving. So this is what I know this because I've worked in UX for most of my career. I know all of these things have been basically used against us. Okay. Now, and again, I want you to know there's no one enemy. It's not the CCP. It's not the Russians. It's not it's all of them. It's all of them. It's a playbook. Okay. So what we should do is probably focus less on the ideology that's doing it and more that how to sort of inoculate yourself from all of it. Okay, and that's what I say when I'm saying that I'm a pacifist in the information war. I am a conscientious objector to this information war. And so anyway, hopefully I can play some role in that. I don't know. I don't know if fucking listens to me. But we can try. We can fucking try. So basically what it is like, it's obvious. And that's the thing, like Twitter used to be like very easy signals for spam, right? So think about spam in the old days where it was just obviously spam. And they had sort of 5 signals, right? So when I talk about signals, I mean signals that this account might be fake or like fuckery, right? Signals for fuckery. Let's just call it fuckery. Because it is. It's fucking with our heads. It's fucking with our systems. It's fucking with all our vulnerabilities. Just call it fuckery, all right? But yeah, so basically what they do is they feed that information to the vulnerable. So TikTok, this is where the social media plays a big role with kids. And this is why we're seeing them fucking morph into cult members, okay? They're sort of morphing into cult members. Yeah, so Sly Fox said I need a vaccine against the idiots I keep coming across. And the problem is that it is so pervasive. Like everything's propaganda. What I'm saying right now is a form of propaganda. I'm trying to persuade you. But what I can do is hope that by showing you what's true and what isn't true, or how to figure out what's true and isn't true, and how to be honest with you, right now, current climate, with knowing what we know, knowing what happened in 2016, right? And knowing that there's people who still believe that fucking there was no like interference with the election. Bullshit. There was, okay. But now knowing that we have had 4 years of additional technology, right, in order for those to get smarter and better and hide better. So getting caught, right? One of the things about hacking is that they learn as much from getting caught as they do from all of the other stuff, and as they do getting away with it, because they realize that they start to learn how to fucking what went wrong. Always testing A, B, A, B, A, B. Did this get us caught? Did this not? Did this happen? Did this person? But they're also doing that to humans through our apps. So through UX, okay. Was this persuasive? Was that not persuasive? Can I get the person to do this versus this, this versus this, this versus this, this versus this, constantly for the last fucking, several years, okay, constantly gathering data on us and making us our own weapon, okay, turning us all against each other. Like, and I swear to God, like this, all of this fucking stupidity, like there's always going to be those idiots that go, oh, mask freedom, like you fucking morons. They're being fed. Be kind to people. They're being fed bullshit. They're being fed propaganda from all angles in order to create. Because COVID, I mean, remember initially, right? COVID happened, and there was kind of a little glimmer of unity. Remember that? Remember what happened? Until the fuckery started. They started to get division again. People started to fight over masks and no masks, and whether it was China or what, a conspiracy and 5G and all this stuff. So this is all on purpose, okay? It stops people. Look, anyone who wants to divide ultimately wants to conquer, okay? And I know it sounds hippy-dippy bullshit, but the only solution to this is sort of, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Also, don't drink disinfectant. Fuck me. But also just making sure that we are always assuming that we are being fucked with. Okay, that's the only, but doing it in a way that there is truth out there. There is truth, but being a lot more skeptical than ever. I know that you were taught in like year 9 media studies how to sort of read an article from the media, and people are generally not trusting of the media, but they are trusting of social media because they think they're talking to actual people, right? It's fucking crazy how weaponized this thing has become. It's actually really quite impressive and weird. And as I write my book, it's weird because I'm writing this stuff and I was seeing the writing on the wall and I couldn't put words to it. But, I think the next 3 months are going to get really ugly. Like I'm seeing this stuff, right? I'm seeing every little sort of loophole, every little slippery thing. I'm seeing sort of weird movement, weird shifts in the data, weird vulnerabilities. people behaving like bots, right, in a weird sort of way, who have been clearly sort of just brainwashed to oblivion, right? Like it's amazing. And like, like the woke bots, man, you got mega bots, but they're actually, it's fascinating. They're fucking cyborgs. It's fucking amazing. And I don't mean any disrespect, because I do see these cult members as victims ultimately, right? But at the same time, I go, fuck me. Like, every so often I'll just run into like the perfect specimen. And I sit there and I'm like, you're amazing. You are an amazing specimen in fucking AI kind of stuff. It's incredible stuff. It's fascinating. And that's the problem, is that, and Doug said, I just try to stay in my little corner of the universe and mind my business. And that's the thing. I'm sitting here going, I just want to write jokes. I just want to write a book. But I just fell into this stuff and stumbled upon it because of just what I do for a living and what I have traditionally done for a living. And I realized that it's like, fuck, I need to tell people about this stuff. But I don't want to, I still just want to be a comedian and a comedy writer. So I'm trying to find a way to fucking entertain people, right? It's a head fuck. I look crazy. Like, I've been messaging people like that, I'm like, who have big communities, like and saying, guys, this is happening. I'm seeing this weird shit happening, and you got to be aware that the election's coming up, shit's going to happen. You're going to have a plan for this. Here's how you keep an eye on it. I've been doing this, right? And I sit there and I have to sign every email with PS, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I actually just know what I'm talking about. But the NPC meme was quickly, yes, Peter said the NPC meme was quickly squashed because it was too powerful. Yeah. And the NPC is just sort of so for those that don't know what an NPC is, it's a non-playing character in video games. It's the character that you can't interact with, but they're just part of the environment. They're part of the scenery, right? And NPC in the culture wars is sort of your average person who just goes along. I mean, part of the reason why a lot of this sort of gender stuff is that most people are NPCs. They go along with it. They're generally polite, generally good people. They just want to get on with their day, right? You don't interact. They're not part of the story. They're just kind of fucking whatever, right? So that non-playable character. It's a really good, actually not a bad analogy. But I just want to say, like, it's just very weird to have been sort of stumbling upon this stuff and writing my book and seeing, like, going back and going, holy shit, I see how we got here. It's just really funny. Like, if I'd written the book 6 years ago, it would have been a very different book. But now it's just, I would have been writing the predictions, but I wouldn't have had examples. Now I've got the predictions and I know that I'd predicted it. And now it's like, fucking hell. So my prediction next, okay, is that every single online community is going to be imploded if people aren't aware of it. That's basically what's going to happen. And so people, and also that people mostly don't realize that they're interacting with either AI, and you have to understand, they don't look like the spam bots of old, okay? Like, there's people who, like, social engineering is a thing. They will even just get you on the phone. They will fake a friendship. They will do whatever that takes to get you sharing their propaganda for the election and stuff, right? So just be very skeptical, very careful, and try to assume, don't assume. And the problem with a lot of this stuff is that AI has gotten so good, and woke, sort of all of their fucking poor little cult members are members of our family and friends, and try to see them as victims of brainwashing. It probably changes things a bit for you, but also see it for what it is, okay, which is that it's manufactured, it's artificial, and really all we can do is start to assume that this is happening, but don't lose your faith in humanity, because this is the end goal, which is to divide us, which is to split us up, which is to make us not trust each other, right? Because I've said this before, the way that World War III will be fought won't be fucking tanks and armies across borders. It will be every street corner with tribes, okay, who have been sort of gradually groomed, right? So you'll get one woke versus one MAGA versus one that's on the streets. We're seeing that, right? I think that America seems to be a lot more robust than I thought. I thought that these riots were the fucking kickoff point. It's actually been very interesting to see how much restraint a lot of people are showing. But they are trying. They're trying to start this stuff, right? But yeah, so they're just trying to start shit for the election and change your vote, right? Ultimately, they're just trying to. So if you're in a fucking gardening group and you're seeing people talk about the local community groups are really interesting case studies in this stuff, because what they do is they try to pull focus onto the issues that their candidate or company or whatever, that they try to shift conversation towards that. So say in a local group, they'll sort of talk about crime, right? Or they'll start to sort of make it political. It's actually really fascinating stuff, but it's also hard to spot. And it's that fine line between trusting everything that you see online and trusting nothing and destroying all of your friendships. I would say that you really do focus on those that are using their real name, are verifiable people, you talk to, all that sort of stuff, and not really worried too much about all of these online relationships and friends. I think that it's time to sort of demote some of it, just until this stuff's over. It's getting worse. So anyway, that was a quick stream, half hour, Monday. I'm thinking of doing more content actually on disinformation, how it's made. I'm working on that stuff. Has anyone got any comments? Not many people watching because it's first thing Monday and everyone ends up having meetings and busy. But trust me, in the lead up to the election, you're going to want to be a bit more skeptical about everything, absolutely everything. And I don't know if you benefit from actually from me making some propaganda videos, but I'm sure just assume everything that you see is bullshit, right? I know that that's really not a really nice way to live, but it's the safest way to live at the moment, because at the moment people are trying to get, I fell into this shit, right? And I'm sort of feeling like I have to roll back a little bit on this sort of anti-woke stuff, because I realize that some of it, if I get back to basics, back to theory, and a lot of stuff has been about getting back to basics, which is, what I know to be true, what I know to be true about people, what I know to be true about the internet, and just theoretically, right? What's happening is that just people are just falling vulnerable to this stuff, right? And so maybe I can just sit there and go, is that true or is that not true? Is that true or not true? I don't know. But I can't be, I also don't want to do that. I just want to fucking tell jokes and have fun and like be a smart ass. So I'm trying to find the balance there. Anyway, and thank you, Nina. I think Nina might be AI. What do you think? I'm kidding. So I'm going to go do some like real work and have some food and all of that stuff. Think about that one. I'm going to come back maybe tomorrow and talk about disinformation hierarchy, I think it's called, but also just some of the Doug said it doesn't help to be able to post grandiose throwaway political statements on Facebook, etc. No, it doesn't. But that's what's interesting, is that through all of this stuff, there's this, it's great. Like all of what, this is the nerd part of me, right? Which is I sit there and I go, fair cop. Like we all overshared, we all shared everything. We all just participated as people. And then all of that data is now being used to simulate our oversharing and relationship building and conversations so that we're talking to bots. And, like, the thing is, I have no real I don't know. This is where the grey area of the ethics of this, I think about this all of the time because this is my industry. For those that don't know, if it's your first video, worked in, I have a political science degree, but and policy, but I also I fell into sort of online campaigning, political campaigning, and then went into marketing. I saw the writing on the wall with this sort of early as a very eager young participant on the internet. And I saw the writing on the wall that this could have, because again, it's just that unique mix of politics where you instantly go, okay, how can this be used by powerful forces? Most people don't think like me, right? Most people aren't like me. And I went, oh, well, that's going to be used. I've talked about this presentation I did in 2010, 2010 about Twitter to the Women's Parliamentarians Conference. And I said, I tweet and I think it was called I Tweet and I Vote. And it was a presentation about how the conversations on Twitter can help you to measure sentiment and blah, blah, blah. And I also had a throwaway line, this could also be used for evil, so don't do that, please. Like, I remember joking, right? I always just assumed that it wouldn't be. It's quite funny. I saw it happening, and I did warn them a little bit that I said, you know, if you're not active on social media, then you know, questionable forces will use these tools to manipulate. So you need to be part of the conversation and make sure. Like, I was literally showing them how to use Twitter in 2010. It's fucking so retarded. And then I remember with my old business partner talking about how we could easily use Twitter, a combination of Twitter, Facebook, and all the varying APIs to measure political sentiment in any electorate and start to post content and shift them. This was in 2011. So I know this shit. I've called this shit out early. Unfortunately, a lot of my old written down stuff is on my old company drive that I got deleted when that whole thing ended badly. So, and I didn't keep backups of those documents because otherwise I could be showing you this stuff. But I predicted a lot of this stuff, right? And so I went, fuck it. Because I'm in Perth. I was in Australia. No one listens to me. I'm a girl. No one listens to a girl in this industry at that early. It's all about the fucking dicks with engineers. The engineers with dicks. Actually, no, nope. The first time was the right way. They are dicks first, engineers second. They're always men first, but I'm just saying. No, but no one listened to me, right? They just laughed and went, ha ha, you fucking ha. So I just gave in. I fucking surrendered. And I went, oh, well, suppose I do marketing then. And that's why I ended up doing just marketing and UX for various high profile clients, tech companies, UX projects, you know, and I'm pretty decent at that stuff. So those that don't know that background, and now we're here, and I'm still sitting here trying to fucking explain to people what's happening, what's going on, and they're still not listening. You're listening to me, but no one else is. So it's just funny to be sitting here in little old fucking Perth because, you know, I'm writing a chapter. It's called ASL at the moment. I inserted that one, and I'm going to talk about how my age, sex, and location have sort of held me back in terms of a lot of this conversation. And I just sort of caved and just decided to build websites and all that stuff. But I know what's happening. But I just also reached a point where I saw that what this was happening, what I said was going to happen was happening, and I just went, "This is too evil. I can't be part of this. I can't be part of this shit." When Waze sold to Google, that was the clincher for me, and started to pulling all of this like behavioral fuckery, and everyone started talking about data and data and data and data and data and data. I went, fuck it, nah, can't do it. Evil, got to get out. So unfortunately, I still have to pay bills. So I still do some of the work, but it's work. I try to do work that I can live with. And do you know what's interesting? I spent probably 5 years trying. Here's an interesting thing. I branded myself as an ethical UX consultant, right? And nobody's interested. They don't see it. They don't see the ethical challenges. And I spent 5 years trying to sell like honest, ethical, real human-centered design, not human harvesting design, right, to people. And they weren't it's not human-centered design, it's robot-centered design, it's algorithm-centered design. And it's a load of bullshit. That's a fucking Orwellian. Calling anything human-centered that's in tech at the moment is the only human-centered design is to not fucking do any of it. It's all algorithm shit, man. Anyway, I was lied to. And I told lies too because I didn't know. I thought the good guys would win. I've always had that view that the good guys would win. But now, seriously, we're like, don't believe any of it. It's all content factory. It's all fuckery. And so I'm here to tell you that. In exchange for, I don't know what. I don't know. I joked last night that what I'm going to do is walk around naked by default, and so people pay me to put my clothes back on OnlyFans. It's getting to that point. But if you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com it's on my website, teasmith.com.au. But if you want to, if you want to support me or any of that stuff, I'd absolutely, my follow animation hasn't been working. There you go. You can find me on teasmith.com.au and all that shit. I've got to get better at making sure that that's a thing. And, but yeah. No one, listen to me. Get me to tell your friends about these videos. I know they're long, but they're worth it. Except for the last few minutes. And I'm not doing clips because there's too many clips, there's too many lies, there's too many things taken out of context. I want to be able to just tell the truth, show the truth, be vulnerable, fucking talk shit, and so that you believe me. Because I think it's actually not only is it a strategic thing for me to not do clips, it's also part of, first of all, showing the process, right? Being open about the process of growth, right? If you go from video 1 all the way up to today, you'll see that improvement. And also, this is not my product. This is my process that you're seeing, right? My product is in the book and in the eventual stand-up and in the eventual sort of things that I produce out of this. Not this. This isn't my fucking product. This is a bonus. But what was I going to say? But yeah, there's so much, there's too many 30-second, 3-minute, 10-minute clips that are fucking sanitized and lies. I have an obligation to make sure that this is the truth, that you feel like you can trust me, so that then we can maybe get through this thing and have at least fucking, 10 people, the 10 people that are watching that right now that actually fucking realize that there's still some sanity out there. I don't know why you think I'm the sanity, but I'm trying. Anyway. But the answer isn't also counter propaganda. So if you see, this is the thing that I almost fell into, right? Which was with this woke stuff. It's easy to fall into, and I feel like a few people like Tim Pool and others have fallen into this counter propaganda stuff where you start making it your mission to fucking go after the other guy rather than focus on what is true. What I'd really like to do is sit and try and focus on what's true. And we're going to get it wrong. That's the human failing, right? That's the difference between human and AI, is that AI, they have the answers available to them, right? We don't. We figure it out. We learn. We don't A/B test. We A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K test and have all of that. That's how we are complex. Our reasoning is a lot more complex. So, people like me reflect, right? And I'm going to, anyway, let's just try to focus on what's true, but I'm going to try and do a bit more media literacy and a bit more sort of, what's true, what disinformation is, how that works. And that's the only contribution I can make. I think by joining the culture wars, and I'm a fucking pacifist. I am a conscientious objector to the culture wars. How does that sound? I refuse to fight. Right? I would like to do non-violent resistance, and I mean non-violent in terms of psyops as well and propaganda. So non-violent resistance, right? Let's just educate people, change hearts and minds in the right way, and get people to really just question all of the propaganda that they're seeing right now. Okay, left, right, fucking blue check, stupid, smart. Let's just, let's try that maybe. And also try to be funny, which was my fucking goal in the first place. But anyway, I'm going to go. I was going to go I'd do that. No, you hang up. I was going to go 10 minutes ago, but then asked a question. Okay, so thank you, Doug, Nina, Peter, Sly Flox. I'm doing what someone else does, which is thank everybody. Doug, Sly Fox, Peter, Nina, and for your comments and participation. If you are finding that you want to catch these streams, I've had feedback that they want to catch the streams, but they're missing them. I am quite happy to do maybe one in an evening or night time so that you can reach and pre-schedule and stuff. Oh, Baseman's here as well. Hello, Baseman. I'm just on the way out, but thank you. So I'm going to go. But yeah, if this time is off, I might need to look at, I'm better off first in the morning because I get this out of the way and then I get on with my day and get my work done, whatever, and plan for tomorrow. But I can do an evening stream like on the weekends or once a week or something like that. I just need to maybe do a US or UK friendly stream once a week or something, like on a Wednesday. Anyway, get back to me, message me, and if you want to fucking help me, go for it. If you don't, I don't know. That's fine too. Baseman says it's 5 a.m. here. Okay, so maybe I'll do a late one that's later in the day on a Wednesday or something. I want to try and make it so that I have a set schedule, because then you know that at 9 a.m. you can tune in and you find Taya, and at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, Taya's doing the fucking that works better for me. But my body rhythm is so shit. Sometimes I cancel at the last minute. I apologize for the Thursday and Friday. I just wasn't feeling it. So, and also I think I'm just starting to come out of this stuff, see all the propaganda, see all the fuckery with different ideas than I had sort of a few weeks ago, right? I'm reflecting a lot because isn't it interesting? I know I said I was going to go. I will hang up in a minute. But what you take in really does make a difference, okay? What you consume media-wise. So, like, I do notice a difference between if I'm reading like Feedly or my like news all day versus if I am reading literature and books and doing research and creating and writing and taking in quality, like not junk food information. The difference in my perspective, my emotions, my mindset, everything changes. And I just, I've talked about this before. I've been watching a lot of people create, sort of breaking fourth wall creation process stuff, and educating and doing actual research, like reading books like that from people that have done this before me on the same topic. So they're broadening my knowledge. Versus the fucking culture wars, which is where we're reacting to fucking who's cancelled this like today kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't feel like that's my role. As much as there's low hanging fruit jokes in it, I'd rather have a bit more substance to what we're doing. And also just, I can still make you laugh. I'm still fucking pissed off that the jokes that I try on, no one laughs at. And the jokes that I feel like are just lazy get retweeted. I was so proud of that fucking Twitter joke about, what was it, Twitter mansplaining is like literally the only example or exception where biological sex is mutable. I thought that was it's a good joke. And I stand by that joke. But I suppose there's assumed knowledge in there, which is that you understand that biological sex is immutable, and that people are arguing that it's mutable. And I was playing on the mute function on Twitter. Baseman says it was a classic. Thank you. I was playing to the back of the room with that one. It's like, I'm trying to write good jokes. Like this morning, I'm still thinking of the opener, but I've got a joke which was like, as I pressed the flush button, I thought, well, shit's going down. I don't know, just getting the nuggets. The nuggets. That's another shit joke. But I'm just you got to stay in there. But I thought the bait and switch. I'm playing with technique. Get back to form, right? Get back to technique, form. One thing I love is doing fucking songwriting classes. I'm not a songwriter, but songwriting overlaps with comedy in terms of the rhythms and structure and those sorts of things. So I'm really enjoying doing some of that stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go. I really am going to go. You hang up. I love you. No, you hang up. I love you too. No. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Be nice to each other. Stop conversing and fighting with bots. Okay? Just remember, all this division, all this fighting, Twitter thinks it's a good thing. Look at their annual report. It's just engagement is up. Ad dollars are up. That's all. It's their metric. Their metrics. They don't care about the impact that they have on society or on us. What they want is that engagement is up, ad impressions are up, income is up or down. Okay, remember that. All right, and you're being fucked with. It's fuckery. Except for me, I'm awesome. I should be in charge of all of the internet, and everyone should just listen to me all day. You never know where it's going to go. 1 minute you're talking about AI and bots and fucking disinformation. The next you're making toilet flush jokes. It's just the way I roll. Just the way I roll. Toilet roll. It's just the way I toilet roll. No, that was okay. See? Win, lose, or draw. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you for your precious life seconds. If you want to be a patron, do that. If not, that's cool too. We're just hanging out. I love you. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Fucking learn to use a computer, Taya.